Things that annoy each zodiac. Check timestamps for your sign. Aries. Aries gets annoyed when life slows to a crawl. Nothing tests their patience like someone strolling or driving absent-mindedly while they're in a hurry, or being stuck in traffic jams and endless queues that grind their momentum to a halt. They can't stand calls unanswered or phones switched off. Silence feels like rejection, and they'll assume you're just not that into them. Boredom is their kryptonite, so excessive peace and tranquility grate on their nerves almost as much as watching someone endlessly scroll through Facebook or Twitter. Silly excuses, weak apologies, and walking on eggshells with oversweet talk all rile them up. Aries thrives on action and freedom. When they feel oppressed, forced indoors for too long, or pressured into patience, they'll rebel. Remember, your ram's spirit demands excitement, honesty, and the space to run free. Taurus. Taurus gets annoyed when their world feels chaotic or rushed. They crave order. Messy rooms, cluttered desks, or poorly organized spaces trigger a deep discomfort. They're equally turned off by bad taste, whether it's tacky decor, awful music, or clashing colors, and by meals that aren't ready or barely edible. Social events they didn't plan for leave them uneasy, while last-minute changes, hurried schedules, or being forced out of their routines send them into stress mode. They resent having to do things differently from the norm or feeling pressured by jealous partners. Money woes bruise their sense of security, and people who overstep personal limits or act rudely prompt a firm "no thanks." For Taurus, peace, predictability, and respectful boundaries are everything. When those vanish, so does their patience. Gemini. Gemini gets annoyed when they feel cut off, literally or figuratively. Being hung up on, losing cell service, or forgetting their phone battery leaves them scrambling for connection. They bristle at humorless conversations or outdated mindsets that stifle their playful, curious spirit. Interruptions that mute their rapid-fire thoughts or prevent them from sharing ideas feel like personal insults. Tight clothes, forced punctuality, and pessimistic vibes clash with their mutable need for freedom. They hate being confined, physically or mentally, and will ditch spaces or people that curb their spontaneity. Those who can't speak their mind or insist on silence drive Geminis up the wall. To keep them engaged, you must let them run free, talk openly, and embrace the unpredictable magic of their ever-wandering minds. Cancer. Cancer gets annoyed when their emotional well-being is ignored. Skipping meals or going hungry leaves them hangry and unsettled, while sudden weather changes or noisy nights ruin their sense of comfort. Uncomfortable sleep on bad beds or loud disturbances can leave Cancer grumpy for days. Violence, whether on screen or in real life, raises their hackles, as do provocative remarks and unkindness toward loved ones. They recoil when family or close friends drift away or ignore them, and being forgotten stings deeply. Ungratefulness, especially after all their nurturing, feels like betrayal. Cancer needs safety, appreciation, and a peaceful haven. Without that gentle cocoon, they retreat into their shell, refusing to engage until they trust the environment again. Leo. Leo gets annoyed when they feel invisible. Ignored greetings or avoided presence bruise their regal ego, especially when comforts they cherish. Sunny days, lavish treats, or supportive applause are withheld. Being stuck indoors on a bright day, forced to office cubicles instead of soaking up live performance vibes, dims their fire. They bristle when their talents go unnoticed, or someone else outshines them without acknowledgement. Financial constraints that clip their luxurious lifestyle, delayed text replies, or standing last in line for opinions test their patience. Gaining weight or watching their image slip also frustrates them. For Leo, life is a stage. When the audience looks away, they'll storm off to find one that appreciates their sparkle. Virgo. Virgo gets annoyed when life descends into chaos and disorder. Messy rooms, broken public utilities, or last-minute cancellations throw their carefully planned world into disarray. They expect punctuality. Being kept waiting or having calls and emails go unanswered feels disrespectful. Poor taste in humor or repetitive, time-wasting social media scrolling grates on their practical mind, and they bristle at constant complaints. Sudden changes to their schedule, juggling multiple bills at once, or falling ill when they have goals to meet leaves them feeling defeated. For Virgo, structure is sanctuary. Mess is menace. They recharge by organizing, problem-solving, and ticking off to-dos. When their environment shifts without warning, They lose focus and calm. Give them stable routines, clear communication, and respect for their time, and Virgo will shine. Otherwise, they'll quietly vanish to restore order elsewhere. Libra. Libra gets annoyed when they're silenced or shoved into discomfort. Being yelled at or asked to turn down the music feels like an assault on their harmony. They yearn to express themselves creatively, and when they can't share ideas or feel judged for their opinions, frustration bubbles up. Witnessing poverty, injustice, or widespread misery without being able to help weighs heavily on their empathic hearts. Staining a favorite outfit or failing to find the perfect Saturday night look leaves them irritated. They hate rigid demands, aggressive flirts, or any pressure that limits their free-spirited charm. Libras crave balance, meaningful dialogue, aesthetic beauty, and shared experiences. Strip away their ability to connect, to negotiate peace, or to show off their flair, and you'll see them slip away in search of a gentler, more equitable breeze. Scorpio. Scorpio gets annoyed when their trust is treated casually. They loathe when friends borrow things and never return them, or when partners withhold intimacy and play emotional games. Gossip and unjust blame sting because they treasure loyalty above all. They need quiet moments to recharge, and being forced to socialize or relax on someone else's schedule drives them insane. Long stretches without physical closeness dim their passion, but secrets hurt even more. Scorpio's radar detects every half-truth. They crave raw honesty, and lies feel like knives to the back. When someone keeps secrets or betrays them, they don't just walk away. They vanish without a trace. For Scorpio, emotional security is sacred. Once shattered, no apology can piece it back together. Sagittarius. Sagittarius gets annoyed when life feels like a cage. Traffic jams, monotonous routines, or being forced to stay indoors crush their adventurous spirit. They're enraged by cruelty to animals or any injustice they encounter. It clashes with their optimistic worldview. Money worries that ground their travel plans frustrate them deeply, as does tiptoeing around timid, risk-averse people. Spontaneity is their oxygen. Formal events, strict schedules, and controlling partners feel like shackles. They need space to explore, geographically and intellectually, and when that's denied, they lose their spark. If someone demands constant check-ins or guilts them for needing alone time, they'll cut ties faster than you can unpack your bags. Sagittarius thrives on freedom. Remove it, and they'll simply wander on. Capricorn. Capricorn gets annoyed when their discipline is undermined by others' carelessness. They've built success through careful planning, prudent spending, and respect for personal boundaries. So thoughtless borrowing, reckless spending, or cutting corners on responsibilities infuriates them. They hold dignity sacred. Insults or moral lapses toward them trigger a swift, silent withdrawal. Being labeled stingy wounds them because they see frugality as wisdom, not greed. Privacy breaches or untrustworthy behavior break their confidence. They guard their inner circle fiercely. Run-out bank accounts or last-minute financial scrambles feel like personal failures. Capricorn respects reliability and integrity above all. When those values are trampled, they'll quietly build a new life elsewhere, far from anyone who devalues their exacting standards. Aquarius. Aquarius gets annoyed when their progressive ideals collide with narrow-minded reality. They see that environmental pollution, animal cruelty, or social injustices they can't fix alone. Friends' betrayals cut deep because they prize intellectual camaraderie. Forced pleasantries at formal events or rigid schedules feel stifling, as do conversations with people unwilling to think beyond convention. They bristle at hypocrisy, when someone's actions contradict their words, and at any ridicule of their unconventional ideas. When they perceive injustice or closed-mindedness, they detach emotionally and mentally, sometimes disappearing from relationships without warning. Aquarius values freedom of thought and action. Without that, they're lost in a world that refuses to evolve. Pisces. Pisces gets annoyed when their emotional generosity isn't reciprocated. They absorb others' pain and joys like sponges, yet resent being forced into tough decisions alone or waking to late-night phone calls that pull them from dreams. Unfulfilled aspirations or wasted effort leave them disheartened. Sarcasm and cynicism sting their sensitive hearts. Searching for a parking spot when they're already late, craving a sweet treat that's not in the kitchen, or getting rained on without a chance to shelter feels magnified under their emotive lens. When they feel forgotten or physically uncomfortable, burned by sun or chilled by wind, their resilience cracks. Pisces needs compassion, boundaries, and a safe harbor. Without that gentle refuge, they'll slip into their inner seas to heal. Thank you for watching the video, and let us know your thoughts in comments box below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get all the updates.